One see, it looks like Gajendra is locked out. It seems he locked out. He's not able to log back again. It's already full.
Okay, Gajendra ji, can we test your audio one time?
No. He is correct.
I don't see them. Yes, Panath. Yes. Yeah. Yes. Yes, Rao. Namaskar, sir. You want to say hello to your parents? Come, get up. It's Father's Day, man. It's Father's Day. Do namaskaram. You have to show your face there.
Happy Father's Day.
Okay. No,
Happy Father's Day.
thank you. Thank you. Well, we have one Vishwanath sir's son here. I mean, I think his father abandoned his son and left him in Ghana, and he's stuck with me for the last 3 years. So
You need to
anyways,
marry him off, sir.
I do, man. I do. You are right. How are you, Satya? Satya from Mudapakam. Namaskar. Good to see. Seeing you, meeting your wife for the first time. Namaste, ma. Namaskar. Okay. All right. I saw a little child on this side. Yeah, this Gopal, AMC Tirupur. Where is your son? I just saw him. Where is that? Anyway, okay, he ran away. Keep moving.
Saab, you may find Mohandas Egde. They have some good news. They have 59 applications for the next PhD batch.
Excellent. Well, it will be wonderful for all these PhD guys to revisit all this ancient literature, Brahma Sutras, which according to Babuji Maharaj are most corrupted, and to identify which are relevant. See, because of this Brahminism, in order to elevate themselves, they removed so many aspects from it and burnt the texts and left only very little. And on top of they added some masala so that the people will have great regard for the priestly class, which is a tragedy. And anyway, so we need to do some research on those literature.
Will include Narada Bhakti also, sir.
All Upanishads. I'll send you the list.
Okay.
We need to explore and release them,
Yes, sir.
publish them. All these things, Brahma Sutra, Narad Bhakti Sutra, Brihad Anarikya Upanishad, Katha Upanishad, all Upanishads, and relevant slokas from Gita. I will share with you those 8-9 slokas which Babuji had shared, that these are the original slokas.
Sure.
So that can become part of the, I think, expounding it further, the fundamentals of them. We don't have to touch the others. Others, of course, they are very relevant also, because those relevant slokas which are not part of Gita texts, I mean those relevant slokas which are not talked about or directly orally transmitted, but a condition was transmitted, and this condition was later on described in words by sage Vyasa. So that is the description of a condition that was transferred, the exchange, confusion and clarity that was exchanged between two. Otherwise, there were hardly 8 or 9 slokas recited as convincing platform for Arjun to stand on. See, that now, yes, I should fight now. So all those can be explored. I think you made my job easier. I was wondering whom to give this job. So this will be wonderful. Thank you. Remind me, because
Sure, sir.
I'm too much preoccupied with so many things.
Yes.
Okay.
Because you
Alrighty.
mentioned it sometime before that Babuji Maharaj had specifically mentioned about those 7 to 8 slokas in one of your talks.
Yes. What is this? Radha Krishnan. And Namaskaram. Which center are you from?
Master, he is from Erode,
Oh,
Master.
Palakkad, Kerala.
Erode, sir.
He wrote,
Two Radhakrishnan will be there, Master.
Good evening, then.
good evening, good evening. Which center are you from, Radha Krishnan?
Sir, Erode, sir.
He wrote, okay.
Erode, sir.
Thank you.
Sir, wish you happy Father's Day, sir. My father also is.
You too, you too. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Master.
Thank you. Okay. So now let's all offer our prayers.
Yes, sir.
That's all. Okay. Okay, let's begin, brothers.
Brother Anil and Dr. Gajendra have few questions up. They're going to ask.
Pranam Daaji. This is Anil from Toronto.
Yes, Anil.
So the first, our gratitude to you for being with us, Master.
Yes, I'm happy to see your whole gang behind you. It's, namaskar, namaskar.
Yesterday, she was insisting on meeting you.
Yes. Namaste, ma, namaste. We ate together, no?
Yes.
She was on a dining table with us. Very nice. Continue.
Yes, Daaji, we got many questions. The first question is, you mentioned once that Charji Maharaj has offered a prayer to Babuji, and you could feel the subtle vibration effects around, as if everything is melting and all. How can we offer such a prayer to our Master, Daaji?
Well, it's like melting your heart. You know, it's something like you're crying your heart out with desperation, submitting your love without any reservation. You know, we believe, as Mark, that we do get transmission from Master. It is true. Transmission is nothing but another subtle energy, or you can say love from Master. But we can also be the source of love for the Master. We can also transmit to him. Try it and see. While you offer prayers, try to transmit to Master your love and see how that also changes our own condition in the process. Then also you'll be able to judge at that time when you are transmitting love, that is my love really true or fake? Because a fake love will bounce back and hit you hard, I tell you. So that's a true test, whether you can, whether you are really in love with Master or not. Try to transmit, see if it oozes out from your heart. And greater the opening during this transmission of love from your heart, then you can be happy that, yes, my love is no less than that of Master for me. You see, the lovers often play this game, no? Oh, I love you more. And she would end up saying, no, you stupid fellow, I love you even more. This exchange goes on. Same thing is possible with our love for masters. You can say, Master, I love you more than you do, but it is always the case. We can never surpass Master's love. He loves us more than he would love himself. He would sacrifice anything for you. I have seen in one of the conversations, sometime in March of 1945, you have this book. Please read this time and again. This book, there are 4 volumes that will change your spiritual condition. Anytime you feel you're in dungeon and your condition is getting shaky and you're losing faith, read this. I had shared this a couple of times already, and I don't mind sharing this again. Well, Lalaji Maharaj prays. In fact, instead of me speaking from my mind, let me find out the date and share it with you. I think it was 23rd March or so, 21st March. Okay, please bear with me. I had this book to read something, but I'll read something for you now. It's on 21st March 1945, Swami Vivekananda. The condition is improving again. I have resolved not to leave you at any moment and want to follow our Lord in this respect. Swami Vivekananda, here he means, when he says our Lord, means Lalaji Maharaj. Condition is improving again means it's all related to the affairs that's were going on in what we call in Fatehgarh. 1945 time when entire system, all Vyasis were against Babuji Maharaj. Hardly 4 or 5 persons were with him. Well, then Lalaji says, I have inspected and noted myself that the situation at Barnai, a village under Ramchandra's land ownership, means Babuji's land ownership, your duty towards those people is such a rare example among landlords. You have affection also for them. But the irony of the times is such that they do not want to reciprocate. I have thought of one arrangement. Deputy Lalnu Singh, who is a good fellow, he is honest and obliged to you. Moreover, those Brahmanas who remain close to you, remain sowing thorns for you. Only one person is an exception to some extent. It is an order from above that anyway, I will not indulge in reading of the whole thing. Let me come to the point. Swami Vivekananda says, whatever is spoken by our Lord about his love for you, Lalaji's love for Babuji, is a bare truth. He is burning with love for you. I have never come across such an example anywhere throughout my life. People leave their homes for God. Lalaji, he left his home for you. That is the greatest sacrifice ever expected from a liberated soul. If I go to express a little further, I can say that you have beaten or surpassed all world records in this respect. Then he continues, he said, the love of Radha, and Vivekananda doesn't complete the sentence. He leaves it at that. And Lord Lalaji Maharaj says, do not write this. But immediately Lord Krishna intervenes and says, what Swami Vivekananda has said is correct. And there is no harm in writing that in the manner of loving you have surpassed even Radha. The reasons have already been detailed by you. I'm sorry. The reasons have already been detailed by your revered master in his notes. You are not aware that your love is waxing. Swami Vivekananda was going to dictate these words, quote, the love of Radha is now second to yours. I permit that there is no harm in writing this when it is like that. I have dictated the sentence he was going to pronounce. So it goes on and on and on and on. And because of this, Lalaji Maharaj was so moved. The technique he knew, he could have easily initiated himself directly with the source, with God. But he did not do that. He loved Babuji more than himself. And he said, I would like to see my beloved, my Ramchandra. And he put him forward. And the descent of currents came all the way from the source. God, let us say, extended his hand and gave a diksha and initiated Babuji Maharaj. This is the first of a kind, as described further by Lord Krishna, Swami Vivekananda and Lalaji, that no one has ever been initiated in the hands of God ever since the creation. If Lalaji wanted it, he could have done it first. So, in a way, this long story short, Master's love, we cannot say I love you more than you, but we can still play a game and transmit our love. And that's what I witnessed, that he was transmitting love. In prayer, usually we ask. That is the problem, see. And when you ponder over all these things, a very fundamental sentence in our prayer, we are yet but slaves of wishes. Of course, there is a goal-defining statement, but more than all that, only this hits you like a rocket all the time. But suppose you didn't have any wish. Suppose if you had zero wish, would you still need to pray? Think over it. Okay, next question.
So next question. Is there a way that we have minimum impact of emotions, or how to become a witness without having emotional impact on what we see and hear?
Well, we generally react emotionally when things don't go our way. Isn't it? There is always an emotional response when things don't happen as per your, let us say, when you love your children and children are struggling for something to happen in their life. And when we associate our love and our belonging to our loved ones, then too we identify with them and borrow those emotions, what we call para-emotional effect in psychology. And because of that, we remain affected, you see. Unfulfilled expectations, be they of yours or be they of your children or people whom you think as your own. So, best approach is acceptance. You accept it first, that this is the problem. Don't fight with it. If you fight with it, problem is not going to go away. Once you accept that I have this problem, then something can be done about it. Reacting doesn't help at all. So cool down, meditate, pray to Master for a solution. And this is how we develop this ability to solve problems. And nature is also so benevolent that if you are able to solve one problem, be sure greater one is waiting for you. Bigger problem will be waiting for you. You solve that, another bigger one will come for you. There are tests after tests after tests. And this is how nature ensures that we become stronger. Next one.
Anil, you are on mute.
Master, sometimes some negative thoughts comes in our mind, either due to sudden spike of ego or otherwise. But immediately I change my thoughts to positive way and apologize to the master. And whether such negative thoughts create an impression, even if we apologize immediately, master, or make corrective positive thoughts.
Well, it can be, if you can erase it before it settles, if your apology is genuine. If you're authentic about your apology, then there is nothing to worry about. Problem comes when you're not authentic and say sorry. See how many times, suppose you're in a bus or a train or in a plane, especially in a plane when you are going with your bag, backpack, and you bump into somebody and say sorry, and you bump into another fellow and say sorry, and you bump into third person. Are you really meaning that you're sorry, or you keep on bumping people with your bags? That's not sincerity, you see. That's not being sensitive either. So I've been wondering, Sahaj Marg Babuji calls it as Raj Yoga, modified system of Raj Yoga. And Raj Yoga is all about mind, because as he himself describes, that it is called Raj Yoga, kingly things among all Raj Yoga, kingly things amongst all yogas, because we use the very kingly things from our system, which is the mind. But we meditate on the heart. So this is a beautiful combination, actually. You are mindfully aware and heartfully responsive. So our Sahaj Marg is a great combination of mindfulness and heartfulness. Mindfully aware of what is happening within us. Saying sorry or apologizing to someone, if you are really genuine, then that impression will never cross your mind at all. And there will not be any need to clean. So it is a life of awareness that we are trying to lead, spotless life. Spotless in the sense without forming impressions. And this ability to not form impression increases as we become more and more mindfully aware. Reacting from the heart will make more and more impressions. But responding from the heart with compassion will stop forming the impressions. So it's a lovely combination, you see, Sahaj Marg. Some people say, oh, are you fighting with mindfulness? I said, no. Sahaj Marg is all encompassing. We make best use of mindfulness. It is part of our life, because life led without awareness, mindfulness, is a donkey's life. Unaware of things. Even perhaps donkey would be more aware of situation around them than us. So I don't think I should say sorry to donkey and say, I'm sorry I'm using your words. I'm naming your names. But we are sometimes, some of us are worse than them. Say. Next one, please.
Master, this question is, even if the virus is man-made, has nature supported the human mistake in making it a pandemic? Or will nature continue to fight the human wrongdoing?
I don't know. I really don't know whether this virus was man-made or nature-made. But I do like to think that it was man-made. Because there are a lot of evidences. The bats, they've been there for ages. I mean, millennia, even before we walked on this planet, bats were there. Similarly, the pangolin, for which Chinese are so fond of, pangolin, meat, they were also there long before. How did this come about? There are enough of arguments and logical reasons behind all this, but why should we get into this political forum of what is the origin of it? Problem is, whatever be the origin, we are affected now. Let's solve the problem, see. And solving the problem, I don't think any government can do it. See. There's only one solution. If every nation agrees to shut down the respective countries with a pre-announcement that let's close it a week from now. And then after closing it for a week, keep opening for 6 hours and then close it again for another week. All countries at the same time. Then it can be curtailed. In countries like India, Tamil Nadu closes and Karnataka is open. Karnataka is open and Kerala closes. Pandemic is not going to go away. They are playing with it. And I don't think these politicians are really sincere about. They have no idea what they are doing actually. They are making rampant decisions without much thoughts. If all states come together and say, okay, let's close our country in a planned way. So announce week before. So people are ready, close it for a week, give them a break for 6 hours, 8 hours, again go into quarantine for another 7 days. That's it. Then year after year, I mean, this will continue like this. I mean, if you continue on this trend, it will go on for another 2-3 years. They're already warning that the third wave of COVID is on the way. Maybe in 4 weeks, maybe in 5 weeks. The Delta wave that was mutated, now it has become Delta plus. I mean, who knows, will this mutation ever end? I doubt it. If it can spread from one person and capture the whole world, now it's everywhere throughout the world. It's not going to go away just like that. Humanity will have to come together and uniformly, collectively go into quarantine in one go. Otherwise, it will keep jumping from person to person. Next one, please.
Namaste, Master. This is Dr. Gajendra Singh from Gulbarga, Karnataka.
Namaste, Gajendra.
The question is, as we miss visiting our Kanha ashram during this pandemic, how can we feel the same atmosphere in our hearts from our place?
I don't think there will be a proper answer for all this equally applicable to all. There is never the same thing, never ever. And I think we should, instead of regretting on the absence of things, let's focus on what we have, what we can do ourselves. So it is futile to pray to Master for few fundamental things. Let me develop love for you. Let me develop divine consciousness so that I can remember you all the time. Let me have so much of love that I love my brothers and sisters. Master, so please grace me. Let me create the atmosphere that I used to have while I was with you. No. Master can do nothing about it. Something that I can do for myself, I have to do it myself. The roots of love lies, according to Babuji, in constant remembrance. And roots of constant remembrance are in our meditation. That's all there is to it. So are you practicing well? If you're practicing well, then your condition will really flourish. And with every thought of yours, you will be able to intensify the atmosphere of Kanha or whichever place you are thinking of, including your surrounding. So that's why this recommendation, prayerful suggestion that everything around me is absorbed in godly remembrance. And that creates the atmosphere to a certain extent. But then you start comparing, oh, it's not like Kanha, or it's not like the way I used to meet Master. Don't compare. Enjoy whatever you can with your present condition. And we should not judge these conditions, because when I or any abhyasi is on the first point or first chakra of the heart, they have tremendous experiences, unforgettable experiences. Moment they move to the higher chakra, this emotional aspect of experiences drops. And you mistakenly conclude that now those experiences I used to have in the beginning are not there. It is precisely because heart is heart, and heart is connected with our emotions. And when we are starting these meditations in the beginning, it is this emotion that makes you very happy and joyful. Oh, wow, such a nice condition, etc. When we go a little higher, this emotional aspect gets out from our relationship with ourselves only. And then we say, oh, now it is becoming dry. What happens when you take a nice hearty lunch or a dinner? After a while, you'll feel, oh, enough, I'm full now. And somebody offers you more, they say, no, sir, please, please, please don't give me anything more. Once you digest it, you're hungry again. Problem comes, whatever condition has been granted under certain circumstance like bandanas or meeting with masters, that condition has to be digested. Once it's digested by our own devotion, working it out in this way, that through constant remembrance, dedicating all our activities, that I am doing this for my master. Through love. Again, this aspect of bhakti comes into picture, you see. Anything and everything that I do is for his sake, out of love. This changes everything. I think it's enough of question. I think you have a lot to digest. Okay.
Yes, Master.
So it was wonderful to meet Abhyasis, largely from south of India. And I hope to see you again soon. I'll announce once again when all we can meet virtually. I hope it will be very soon. And referring back to Mohandas Hegde, please remind me, we had to do a lot of research on this literature. Thank you all. Thank you.
I would like to request brothers if you can translate all the 3 days, the question and answer sessions and circulate it to Abhyasis. Most of the time, it so happens that a lot of people,